Hello guys and welcome to another stream on Chelsea's Perspective. This is Matt, your host for today, again covering for Coachella while he's enjoying his wonderful break on holiday. And we are here to talk about, first of all, some transfer news, the daily transfer news that is coming out every single day for us. And then we will talk a little bit once some of the panelists hopefully get here. I do have to send a link for that actually, that will actually help. But we will talk about the Real Madrid review once they come on, because it's a bit better to talk about that more in detail when we've got other people here apart from my lovely self. First of all, let's go into the comment section and see who we have here. Big up Latif Chelsea, who's already got the comment section started off. We need Chalobah back to the team and get rid of Badiashile. This is awful defender. Same problem under Maurizio. And I also think Enzo is the worst coach we've ever had. And follow that up with, I could see the worst coming. We will fight relegation. This coach is not helping matters. Players don't understand high line. Awful defending. Well, as I think Enzo Maresca quite clearly said in the post-match presser, he doesn't want to play a high line, as far as I'm aware. And actually, under Leicester, they didn't really play that much of a high line either. So I think it's a problem with the high line we've had since last season. So hopefully that is just a thing that can get out of the players if it is a habit, as he said. But yeah, the defending is not good. I don't want to blame individual players because I think centre-back wise especially, I don't think anyone's been good over the last 12 to 18 months really. Whether it's Badiashile, whether it's Colwill, whether it's Disasi, whether it's Fofana, Fofana's been injured, so I'm not going to blame him too much. And even Chalobah himself, I don't think Chalobah's been better than any of them, really. I think they've all been terrible themselves, which then leads me to believe it's a bit more of a system problem, because they all can't be terrible defenders. They've all shown that they've been good defenders in the past. Badiashile was quite good at Monaco. Axel Disasi was their captain. Colwill played very well at Brighton and Huddersfield. Chalobah's played well for us before and been in the Champions League winning team. So that these players aren't just terrible. I just think we need to be a lot more organised defensively and have a bit more of a better structure, which we're not seeing right now. But big up to Latif for making his comment on the coach. I think it's best not to judge him pre-season. I think let's see how he is over the next few days in terms of games, and then we can sort that out and see. Anyway, sorry, trying to send the link to other people. But let's get into some transfer news first of all. Starting off with, we'll start off with Chalobah since Latif kindly mentioned him in the team. Crystal Palace have apparently registered their interest into Chalobah. Obviously, this is in relation to potentially a former Chelsea defender, Mark Gay, potentially going to Newcastle for around 70 million, potentially, to which we do get a nice 10 million off that from clauses that we had in the last deal that we made with Crystal Palace. So that is nice and helps us a little bit, gives us a bit more money in the coffers. But obviously Chelsea are looking to want 25 million, which if Palace are selling Guehi for 70, then they've got the money to pay that. So that would be a pretty good move for Chalobah, a pretty good move for Chelsea all round, and hopefully that can get done because it's clear that he is not in the plans of Chelsea, whether people like that or do not. Another defender that we can talk about in the headlines is Alfie Gilchrist, who has completed his move to Sheffield United on a season-long loan. He will be there for the whole season, and he's apparently already started training with the first team of Sheffield United. Good move, I think, personally, for Alfie. I think it's it's a good start. I mean, Sheffield United should hopefully have some sort of team to be competitive in the Championship. Obviously, last season their team was not good enough for the Premier League, and they've had a few problems with their ownership themselves in terms of investing money. So hopefully that he can play well there, continue his development, and then we'll see where he is next season. Because as Latif said, if some of these defenders are bad and continue to play bad this season, then that might be a place where Alfie Gilchrist can take advantage of that and potentially be in the squad. Or if not, a good loan spell will be able to catapult him into a great Premier League opportunity, whether that is on loan or in a permanent in the future, because we know Chelsea at the moment with financial stuff do need to sell players, unfortunately, in some seasons to make sure we keep up to date with the financial regulations of the Premier League. Next up, in terms of transfers, we are going to talk about the goalkeeper, and this came out recently. Napoli are apparently monitoring the situation of Kepa. For me, I pray that it's true. I have some doubts because I don't trust our players being linked to Italian clubs, because Italian clubs cheapskates. They don't normally like to pay these players, and I think Kepa's got a high wage, so I just don't think Napoli will come close to his wage, and that will not work. But you never know, and it could happen. Obviously, Chelsea are interested in Victor Osimhen, which Matt Law, we will talk about next, has given us a little update on that transfer. So potentially there could be deals made to make. I mean, for me, I would just as long as they can pay some sort of minimal fee for Kepa, I'd be more than happy with that. But we'll have to see whether that actually happens or not. Next, to go into this, we will talk about. We might as well talk about Osimhen. So the rumor is, obviously, Matt Law has said that Osimhen will be here. In terms of we are still linked. We are still looking to sign the player. Unfortunately, there is not too much information regarding necessarily how we are going to break this impasse in terms of the high wage, the high fee. Matt Law also spoke about Lukaku deal regarding Napoli and said that Chelsea do want the full £37 million release clause that they have put on Lukaku at the moment in his contract. But Napoli have not actually put in a bid since that was mentioned. So obviously that has gone a little bit quiet, but that is natural since Napoli will not realistically be able to do anything until the money aspect goes to until they get money for Osimhen, because that is how they're funding the transfer. They cannot afford to have Lukaku and Osimhen on the same books. So until one of Chelsea or PSG make a deal for Osimhen, it is simply not going to happen, and nothing is going to change at the moment, at this current time. But please, guys, do let me know what you think in regards to them transfers that we've just talked about. I'd love to hear exactly what you guys think about that. Obviously, this is a channel that we love to read your comments and engage with you guys very much. Obviously, Latif has already made some comments in the comment section. We've already kind of discussed that a little bit. If you guys want to give any more discussions and comments, we are happy to receive them. On a nice note for the channel, we did recently get some more subscriptions to the channel, and we have managed to break the 22,000 subscriber limit target. So congratulations, of course, to Coach Illa, the main man, who runs the channel. Obviously, I know from running the podcast myself, being on YouTube itself, how hard it is to run a channel and how hard it is to get to that target. So congratulations to Coach Illa for doing that, and hopefully we can continue to smash it and get as high up in terms of subscribers as possible. Big up to Kyle. Coach, you look different. Game wasn't that bad. These things happen in pre-season. Yes, I do look a little bit different. Obviously, Coach is on holiday, so I am taking over. But big up to McCall for making that abundantly clear. I mean, before obviously the panel comes on and talks about the game, I don't think it was as bad as some of the other games. I think the result was obviously the result against a loss, but there wasn't too many bad, just defensive mistakes. I think we can be a little bit more clinical up front, but naturally, without having Jackson or Cole Palmer, your two top goal scorers, you're gonna not be as prolific up front. And I think maybe the attack does need a little bit of help from the midfield, a little bit, but I think on the ball we look okay. I think it still can improve, but of course this is a new system, so it's naturally going to take time to improve and go through things. But defence obviously is the one that is really killing us at the moment. Off the ball, we're not up to scratch yet. Heard people saying, "Oh, but if we played Gallagher, that would be better." I think off the ball was a problem last season as well, so I don't think it's necessarily a massive problem or change that Gallagher is or is not in this squad at the moment. Obviously, it does have a little bit of an impact, and I think the defence, I don't understand why we're playing a high line. I mean, it confused me last season. We played a high line when we had Thiago Silva, one of the oldest defenders in the Premier League, and it still confuses me now, even though Thiago's left, and these players would be more comfortable, because it's just so dangerous to play, especially when our team isn't. Even with Connor, we've never been a team that presses together and that kind of gegen presses. If you play that sort of style, you can afford to have a bit more of a higher line. But I think we just need to be. I think we need to find that balance. And as Enzo said, even just dropping 4 or 5 yards will make a difference. Big up to McCall, that's made another comment. Big up Matt. Good to see you hosting the conversation. What are your thoughts on defensive tactics in terms of maturity necessary for top four? I mean, yeah, as I was saying, I think the most important thing is these players are still learning what Enzo Maresca's system actually is. And I think the defenders seem to be taking a bit more time to learn, and the midfield as well a little bit, to learn how to play off the ball. And of course, with these big systems, when you don't know it very well, and especially when you're playing teams like Manchester City, who have been in that sort of system for years and know it perfectly, when you make mistakes, you're more likely to get punished from it, because you have one person out of that system and the whole system technically falls apart. That is technically the negative of being so system specific rather than looking at individual quality, kind of like how Pochettino did last season. I think we will get it eventually. It might take a bit of time, and I do expect the first couple of months of the Premier League month or two of the Premier League season to be a bit more harder to watch in terms of the defence. But I think once we can get it, I think I've seen enough positives from certain parts of the game to be able to see a decent team. I think the squad is good enough for top 5, top 4, whatever you want to call it in terms of Champions League. I think if we had more players consistently fit last season, I think we would have given Tottenham and Villa a good run for their money. But obviously injuries happen, And thankfully, we've come out of this American tour with no new injuries, which is fantastic to see. And I think that is one of the biggest things that I think if we can change and not have as many injuries, then I think we can have a good season. We can hopefully have a better season than we did last season, and make a good challenge for the Champions League spaces. Whether we get it or not is another question. I think there's a lot of good teams. Aston Villa have spent a lot of money. Obviously, Man City and Arsenal are also already very good teams. I'm sure Liverpool will spend some more money. Man United have made some signings, although injuries is the problem. They've come out of pre-season and they've got Rashford injured, they've got Højlund injured, they've got the new centre backs out for 3 months now. So that's where I think you've got to look at pre-season in a totally different light. People are looking at it so much results based, wanting to get wins and win comfortably. It's like it doesn't happen. I mean, I've seen so many pre-seasons in my time as a Chelsea fan where we've lost to, for example, I can think of the first one, Yokohama FC. I've never known any player that's played for Yokohama FC, and we lost 2-3-0 in one of the Conte seasons. But it doesn't judge your season. Pre-season is all about getting fit. It's all about staying injury-free, and especially in this season where we're learning a new system, it's just trying to learn and correct your mistakes. Sometimes you've got to make mistakes to then learn from them. And I'd rather make the mistakes now in pre-season and try and learn them ready for the Premier League. I do think now that we're back in the UK and they're not travelling every 5 minutes, they will have more focused training sessions where they can learn a bit more and focus a bit more on what they're doing. And then hopefully we can see a bit of an improvement in the next few days on lead up to the Inter game. And then they've got a week where they can train ready for the first game, obviously against Manchester City, which is going to be a tough game. I'm not going to hide away from that, but hopefully we can try and see if we can get a result. Big up to Almighty Sports Plus, Ankit, in the comment section. We need to try and get consistency on the pitch now. Disappointed with pre-season, still early days. It is early days, and as I said, I don't get worried about pre-season. It is what it is. I would rather not get slapped up by teams like Celtic, but I think you have to look at the context of the fact that these players some of these teams are further into pre-season than us. Celtic have already last weekend started their Premier League their Scottish Premier League season already, so they were a lot more fitter, and naturally that's going to skew results a little bit. Obviously, we shouldn't have lost 4-1, but unfortunately, it was just a lot of mistakes that we made, and we paid the price for it. Which is where I think if you can cut the mistakes out, you cut the goals out, and then we start looking a little bit better, especially when you integrate some of the better players, such as I think Cucurella inverting will be something I'd like to see, and then Gusto can play in a little bit more of his natural position. Obviously Cole Palmer, and bearing in mind Cole Palmer has been in the Manchester City squad for a long while, so he knows that system a little bit easier and will hopefully take to it very well. And then obviously Nicholas Jackson as well up front. I think that will help us, because as good as Mark Guy's been, I think Jackson will be the important person that we need in there. Another good comment from McCall, a good question. Is the backline losing faith in tactics, defensive tactics already? I don't think they're losing faith. I think it's natural to be frustrated when you make a mistake, and there's a lot of mistakes happening. And yeah, I think you can see that, as he's kind of said, that Badiashile slow jog was ominous for that second goal. Yeah, I mean, when you make a mistake and when you keep making mistakes, you get frustrated with it. It's natural. It's natural human emotion to feel frustrated about something. Obviously, it's not good, and I'm hoping that's just a thing of he knows it's a pre-season game and he just can't be asked to slide to it. Because for me, he can get to that ball and clear it potentially. And I hope that in a Premier League game when it matters, that doesn't happen. If that does happen, we've got another question to ask. But I'm hoping that is just him in pre-season no, it's not something to care about, doesn't want to slide or doesn't want to throw himself at it and get injured. But I do agree that I think frustration. I don't think it's losing faith. I think it's just naturally it's you get frustrated when you make mistakes, and when you don't seem to get it. But I think the best thing to do is more training, working on that defensive lineup, and just working with it and keep repetition, and that will help you improve slowly over time. Yeah, he did have one job and he didn't do it very well. Not gonna lie, I think both Badie Shield and Colwell were just terrible in that game. But I'm just hoping that they can improve. I mean, we've seen similar for Fofana. Obviously, he's coming off a big injury, so he's got a little bit more of an excuse for it. But all the defenders that have kind of played have not looked the best. Even Reece has looked and struggled a little bit. So I think we need to improve that a little bit if we want to improve throughout the season. But I'm hoping Enzo can sort that out. Obviously, as I said yesterday, I wasn't the biggest fan when he came in, but I'm willing to give him enough time to see if he can prove me wrong or not. But let's see. We got two big games in that final Premier League, final pre-season game, and then the big game against Manchester City, where I do think personally Enzo Maresca needs to dumb down his tactics and maybe play a little bit differently, just to see if he can try and get some sort of result, even if it's just getting a draw out of that game. But we'll see. Big up to Tiger Beast. Hello. What's up? Big up to everyone. Big up to you too, Tiger Beast. Nightbot also in the chat replying to Tiger Beast. Mikhail replying, let's hope he improves. Big sus tag on him for next round of games as season begins. Yeah, I mean, I think the first 6 months when he came in, he looked really good. And I've liked him when he was at Monaco. I do think he's a good defender. But some reason he's just, I mean, obviously I presumed it last season it was a bit, he had that groin injury, didn't have a pre-season himself, and then when he come back he just couldn't really get into the thick of it. But now he's had a pre-season, he should be better, and he does need to improve. Otherwise I think there is going to be questions on him. There was links of him at the end of last season that he could move on and Chelsea could look to move him on, and I think if they are linked with people like Murillo, who has been last week, that could be a sign that he could be sold if he doesn't play very well. Tiger Beast, I personally think we need a striker ASAP, and Osimhen is what we need, creating chances, not finishing that much, and leaky defence. Yeah, I mean, we do need a striker. Obviously, we've got Samu that potentially is coming in from Atletico Madrid, and obviously Osimhen. It's going to be a deal that's going to take a while if it gets done at all. We'll see if it gets done. There's a lot of players in this striker position, so I think Broja, who's rumoured that he's going to discuss his future with Enzo Maresca, now that they're back in the UK. So I think we might see some moves for him very soon, because I don't think personally he has a future here. Dacho Fofana looks like he's going to move on. I think they will have to look for potential loan moves for Washington, Galway, potentially if Osimhen is indeed going to come in. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I think creating chances. I think once you've got a bit more of a better front force of Nkuku, Jackson, Palmer, then you'll be better. I think Sterling is just, I don't like Sterling at all. Madrid is just not playing good enough, and I think Madueke has had a good pre-season, to be fair, but you can't really do it on your own, especially when you've got a kid from Barcelona you've signed for $6 million who's not the most experienced in terms of playing. Well, it is what it is. Reece protecting his injury, yeah. Obviously he's going to be protecting it a little bit, but I do think obviously Enzo, I don't think he's going to play him as much, because obviously he's not going to be missing for the first few games anyway with suspension. I did like the progression on the ball, resulting in regular chance to score. alas, as always, we can't finish what's new. So, yeah, I mean, we try so many different systems and we come up with the same result. So sometimes you've just got to look at finishing, putting the ball in the back of the net, and hopefully we can change that this year. Big up to God is great, Bad is Shield, Chilwell, Madrid, even Cole and Chalobah are all trash. Let's. I mean, this is a nice and peaceful channel. We don't want to slag players off too much. Obviously, we can be a bit critical, but kind of let's try not to insult the players too much. But these players, I can understand, haven't performed and do need to perform if they want to play at Chelsea Football Club in the future. Tiger Beast, you know what, my Athletic fans, I know that they are very happy to let Samu go. It's not ideal, if I was a top talent and another raw striker. I mean, there's been some Atletico fans that have said that they were gutted to let him go. So I think you get some that are happy, some that are not. Depends on what their agenda is with it. But it is what it is. Amos, Chelsea is worse this season. It's pre-season. Let's just see when the season actually starts. They want to give Sterling the benefit of the doubt. I've been giving him the benefit of the doubts for a long while. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Right, so we're going to bring our first panelist in. Let's go with this. Welcome, Oli Dab. Sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. But welcome to the channel. Nice to meet you. And we'll start with how are you?
Yeah, fine. Good afternoon. How are you? Can you hear me?
You're a little bit quiet. Just check that it's not me. You're a little bit quiet, but yeah, I'm good. Thank you. But what did you think of the game last night?
Well, I saw quite a lot of hard work without end result. It was a lot of hard work and a lot of chances that was created. Enough chances was created to be able to seal the win, but there was no end product at the end of the day. So even my team worked very hard, but end product wasn't good enough. Same thing from every other person who tried. So, but I see quite some hope in the team. Like we say, it's a time to watch how they play, not the result for now. So I see a little bit of hope. My only concern is that the play from the back is not well coordinated yet. The play from the back, from the goalkeeper to the defense line, is not well coordinated yet for me. And I don't know if that doesn't work. I don't know if Maresca will be willing to change tactics. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I understand. Yeah, just want to say your audio is still very quiet. If you come off for now, just have a look at your settings if you can get that sorted. Just because I think a few of the comments have said that you can't really hear you too much. If you pop off for now, just to get your mic sorted a little bit, and then I'll invite you back on once you've got it sorted. Right, so Amos, update about Sam. No updates since yesterday. It looks like he'll sign for Chelsea. Potentially a medical could have happened today, but we'll see how it goes. No updates as of the last 12 to 18 hours. Once we know, we'll be the first to update you on news. Tiger Beast, what is your expectations this season? Top 4 plus Conference League. Yeah, I think Conference League is something that we should definitely take seriously because I think it's the only trophy we've never won. So of course we want to improve and we want to win every trophy as possible. Obviously, we shouldn't really be in the Conference League, but it is what it is. When you're in it, you just got to take it seriously and win it. And I think with the teams that we face, we should be able to win this, even with the season we might, even if we are not at the top this season. I think it does give us a little bit of an insurance policy that even if the season doesn't go as well as we planned, it is a route into the Europa League if we do win it. So I think we do need to definitely go and win that trophy more than any more. In terms of do I think we'll get top four? I'll say it's top four, top five. We don't know whether the top five will be a Champions League that's placed this season. Depends on how the Premier League do in Europe and how we do in the Conference League. So hopefully we can win that Conference League and top five becomes a Champions League spot. I do think we'll be there or thereabouts. It depends on how well we do and how well we get suited to the system of whether we make it. I do think you're going to have Arsenal and Man City at the top two. But I think after that, there's going to be there'll be a big gap between top two and third below. I think Liverpool, I don't think they haven't really signed anyone. They've got Arne Slot now. How are they going to do themselves? I don't think they're going to be as strong this season. Man United have made some improvements. I think Aston Villa look like the team that have made quite a few improvements and look to try and cement their place. Tottenham have made a couple of signings, but nothing too much. How are they going to do? They fell off a little bit towards the end. It'll be interesting to see who, and obviously you've got Newcastle who are out of Champions League, out of Europe now again. So you'll wonder how they will do in terms of trying to challenge for them European spots again. So it's going to be very close within third to seventh, eighth, really. So it'll be interesting to see where we finish. I mean, if you was to make me predict, I would predict we finish fifth. And if that gets us Champions League, so be it. If it doesn't, then it is what it is. Let's have a look. Big up D Prince. Big up Coachella. Yeah, of course, big up everyone. Honestly, Sterling needs to go with his performance yesterday. Madueke hardly tracked back to assist the defence. Yeah, I mean, Madueke's never been one to track back. I do think that is a problem. That's why I think you need a competent right back to sort that out, and maybe one of the midfielders will have to drag in and help out. But I think Madueke does need to work harder. I think there's some good things for Madueke and there's some not so good things for Madueke. And I think he does need to improve on what he's doing. But at least there's something there. Like you said with Sterling, I'm not here Sterling at the moment. I think I think he's someone that is just playing for the big wage, and he's getting it. He doesn't really care. I think he's done as a top footballer, and I pray that Saudi can come in and take Sterling off our hands, because I don't think anyone else will be able to. Has Osimhen joined Chelsea? Not as far as I'm aware. I think it'll be a long deal, but you never know what can happen. As Tiger B said, complicated deal. We'll go up to the very end. Funny viral nonsense. I know it's pre-season and Enzo needs time and the players need time as well, but we look terrible. I mean, I don't like pre-seasons when coming off of Europe, because everyone's at different points in terms of their fitnesses. But we'll have to see. Hopefully these next couple of weeks we can sort some stuff out. But obviously it's learning a new system. I think if we were in a bit more of a stable pre-season with Poch potentially, we might have been doing better. But we've sacked Poch now and it is what it is. Again, big up to Tiger Beast. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Coachella is on vacation. Hope he's having a good time. But what a great stream. Well, I'll take that. Thank you. Show your support, like and subscribe. And we are going to bring in our next panelist. Hopefully Bobby's sound is better than the last guest. Bobby, welcome back. How are you?
Hi, Matt. Big up to you. I just saw you streaming. I think you got another one at 7. I'm in between my treatments, so I thought at least I'll pop in 5-10 minutes. Can't leave you here on your own. You're doing a good job.
A good job. Thank you. What did you think of the game last night? I mean, as we said, it weren't a battering, but obviously we didn't get the win.
Yeah, we discussed it. Do you know, the funny thing was that I fell asleep, and I had to wake up this morning and look at the highlights and a few of the reruns just to get an idea of what happened, and it was really what we expected. In terms of a pre-season, going to America for a team that is starting from scratch yet again is not ideal. You know, they've not really had a preparation out there. They've just had a few little bits and pieces, and it shows. The performance was shocking. It was very bad. The defense was extremely bad. I don't know why, for the Real Madrid first goal, I don't know why Badiashile didn't lunge to try and stop the ball. He could have done it. Is it that the pitch was so dry and he didn't want to get injured? Possibly. But it was terrible all round. Colwill, oh gosh, he looks dreadful. Sterling, really, I think people are saying he needs to go, and I don't, I agree. I don't know why people are getting on Madueke's back. Yeah, he doesn't track back. Can he learn that? Possibly, but was he perhaps one of our more effective strikers alongside Nkunku? Absolutely. Look, we know what the problem is: unfit players, new system that they haven't learnt, manager learning them, they're learning the manager. This may not even, most of these players may not even be the team for the new season. So we're not ready. I posted out on X that, look, we're not ready. We're very far from it. I deliberately over exaggerated the unpreparedness because I think it's good that Chelsea fans have a realistic perspective as to where this team is and not expect us to start the season ripping up trees. Because I don't think we're going to get anywhere really as far as cohesion is concerned till about November, December. That's just reality. That's where we are. We can't even judge Maresca on his tactics because the team doesn't know his tactics. Real Madrid basically they drilled us like children. They're a well rehearsed team. Mbappe wasn't there. A lot of their main hitters weren't there, and they still made us look silly. I mean, Vinicius Junior just toyed with us. They were playing with the spaces on the flanks, left by the high line. And yeah, Maresca's talking about, oh, they don't know how to drop from the high line, and going on the high line is an instinctive thing. Okay, we'll accept that, but we have to keep it real that the performances really aren't up to scratch at all at the moment.
Yeah, I think I think we're in agreement of the situation that we're in at the moment. And with that high line comment, obviously it was a little bit fun. It was a little bit back to last season with Poch, and I do understand that we did play a bit of high line last season. I remember having a moan that we were playing a high line. Thiago Silva, the oldest defenders in the Premier League, makes no sense. But I think we do. That is the one thing we can do if we're struggling defensively. Just to drop back a little bit. Do you think it's a bit more of a habit with these players, or do you think that's a little bit more excuses?
Yeah, I mean your muscle memory's got to be built from something, and if they've been used to playing that way under instruction last season, there will be carryover till this season until Maresca can get it into them to play his way, whatever that is. There's nothing wrong with playing a high line, but you've got to have the pace to deal with it when you lose the ball. And we weren't doing that. We were getting skinned on both flanks by Real Madrid last night. Okay, my acceptance of all this is the knowledge of the fact of the lack of readiness. We're not ready. Are we capable of adjusting our play? Are we capable? Playing a high line is a very deft skill. You got to have a team that's functional in the first place. Then they've got to know when to drop back. We were none of those things. We were all over the place defensively. And offensively, we were back to the old missing chances. The header by Raheem Sterling, which is now just filling me with rage whenever I see him on the field. Mudryk is disturbing me. I don't know. I don't know whether he's
That's the problem I find. I mean, I don't want Sterling on the pitch at all. And then
yeah.
I go, oh, Sterling's off, Mudryk comes on. I'm like, I can understand why Sterling's played in the first place because they're both just terrible. And that's why I look at everyone keeps talking about right winger, but I actually think left side well look at something. We've got Madueke who looks, as you said, could do better with tracking back, but does provide some good going forward. We've got Palmer on that side that can play there. So I think the left side is somewhere I think we need to look at rather than the right side. To be fair, because it's just Sterling and Mudryk just both don't look good enough.
They're not. They're not. In my mind's eye, at the moment, the left side has got to be covered by Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't know what's going on with this talk of Osimhen and Omoradian. I don't want both of them personally. I like the development trajectory of Gio. I do like that player. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's so young. Maybe because he tries so hard. But I don't see him really. He doesn't feel you. He doesn't give you that sense of, oh gosh, the ball's at his feet, is not going to score, or oh gosh, this is just one of those players that's going to flatter to deceive again. He doesn't give you the what's the name of the German we had up front?
Or Havertz.
No, the other one. Oh gosh, what was his name? We loved him at Chelsea, but God, did he miss his
Yeah.
chances? What's his name? Help me, Matt.
Werner.
Werner. That's right. That's right. He doesn't give that Timo Werner vibes. He looks like when he finds his feet, he is going to find the net, and that's why I like him. And if we're going to get a Meridian, or if we're going to get Osimhen, oh gosh, I've got to go soon. It's got to be with him. But from the looks of it, I mean, if we do get both of them, I think the collateral damage in someone going out on loan to give space for them might be him. Well, will be him.
Yeah.
Which is very sad to me. But that left side, to me, it's got to be Jackson. I think that's where Jackson fits into the team this season, because playing Raheem Sterling, if Maresca persists with Sterling, I think I'll be very disappointed. Very disappointed. It will show this is a guy that really, one, has no courage, two, is lacking in understanding. Now, he hasn't given me that impression. Of course, he's going to try him, but I think he may have seen enough already.
Yeah,
And
I mean, for me, I'm just waiting for a Saudi club just to come in and offer Sterling something, because I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. I don't think we can get rid of him up in another way. But some people have said Nkunku can play on the left potentially, which I don't mind, but I'd rather him, and I want to see him in attacking midfield. I don't really want him playing as a striker. I don't want him forced out to the left. I think that central area, I think, is where he flourished under Poch in that pre-season. I think I want to see him competitively there. But
I think so too. I think so too. If he's there, then definitely that right side belongs to Palmer.
Yeah.
So Madueke is only ever going to come off the bench anyway, so long as Palmer's fit and ready to play.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Which is his, right now, which is good enough for him. Really, should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives him the chance to. Sometimes it's good to come off the bench when you can see what's going on and almost make know what to do to change the game, and see it from the sidelines rather than when you're starting and you're not seeing the game in the same way from on the sidelines. So that can help Madueke make impacts in games and be an impact player from off the bench. I think Palmer is that good at the moment. He's not going to get ahead of him, which hopefully he should be fine.
That's right. That's right. And he can get his starts in some of the, if we can get them, or if we can even say that, easier cup games. At the moment we don't have an easy cup game because we're not a team.
No. That's the thing. We need to play as a team first to beat anyone.
Yeah.
I think is the problem at the moment. Let's have a look, see in the comment section what people are saying. Do you have to go, or you able to stay?
Yeah, I do have to go, unfortunately, Matt.
Yeah,
It's a
that's fine.
shame.
No,
I'll
it's not a problem. If you need to go, you need to go. It's fine.
I'll try and join you a bit later on if you're still on, but I'll be listening for sure.
Not a problem. Big up to you, Bobby, and speak to you later.
Thanks. Yeah.
Right, so let's have a look at some of the comments. So, Tiger Beast, what was on it? Replying to D Prince about, I think he was talking about Chelsea not looking at the wages. I think they are going to compromise, but I do think there does need to be some compromise from Osimhen's way, and I think he will have to probably compromise because PSG don't want to pay it. Saudi recently come in and then said no, so Saudi don't want to pay his wages. No one's going to pay his wages. So if no one's going to pay his wages, he's got to compromise it a little bit because I don't think he wants to stay at Napoli personally. But it is what it is. Again, I think Chelsea will have to say we will buy him as an obligation. Whether we do a thing of it's an option to buy it, and once he plays, say, 20 games, then it becomes an obligation. Whether it's something like that, because you do get them options, obligations, kind of like how Lewis Hall, he had to play a certain amount of games for it to be an obligation, and he played the amount of games with Newcastle, and he went straight away. So I think it might be a compromise that we do, but it's going to be a complicated deal. Not going to happen to the end of the window, and we'll have to wait and see when it happens, or if it happens. Tiba Selfa says, to be honest, the only reason why Madueke isn't sold and is ahead of Tyreek George is because we have to amortise his huge transfer fee. Not necessarily. I think they do want to give him a chance. I think obviously you're right. They have invested a lot of money into him, so they do want to make him work. It's not working at the moment. Obviously, Tyreek George is good, but he hasn't shown anything in terms of the top level either. So I don't think there's. I agree. It probably is just the transfer fee, but not so much that they have to amortise it down. I mean, I would if we had enough international loans, I would send Madueke out on loan because I think that's exactly what he needs at the moment. Some consistent game time to build himself up and see if he can become a player that we want at this club. At the moment, he's not proving it. And if he doesn't do well this season, I think he goes next summer with probably some of the other wingers, Madueke, potentially if he doesn't prove enough. Sterling, because you've got Paez coming in, you've got Stavo coming in next summer. You've got Angelo, Gabriel that is sitting in the wings as well. So these wingers haven't got time to sit around and be comfortable. They will go. Tyreek George, if he either stays in the youth setup or gets a loan move, if he does well again, he'll be knocking on the door again next season. But we'll have to wait and see on that and see how they go. Hopefully, Madrid can prove me wrong, but I just don't think he's looked good enough. He's not. He's more inconsistent than Chelsea in general, and that's saying something. I don't have Swadish, big up. I don't have faith on our defender. I'm saying it again. I don't think anyone has faith in our defence at the moment, but hopefully that can improve with a bit more cohesion in the system. Deep Print saying pretty similar. Tobago, big up to you. Thanks for coming on yesterday. Guy is raw, missed a good chance yesterday, just like the City game. But he is, I mean, he's what, 17, 18. He's going to be raw at that age. There's name a striker that was, bar maybe even Haaland's not even consistently good at scoring loads of chances and clinical. They're all raw at that age because that's what he's supposed to be at that age. And that's why he's not here to be a starting striker. Obviously, because Jackson's been injured and players like Brozier are looking to be moved on. He's been the starting striker there at the moment, but obviously when you're a backup striker, you don't have that much pressure on you, and it's not the worst thing in the world for him to be raw because he's that young and it's a natural development. Swadish mentioned again, obviously Nkuku at left wing, Palmer at right wing, Mark Gee and a striker from the and a striker of Jackson on the bench, or one two starting. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I would prefer to play Nkuku from the centre because I think that's where he will do best. Obviously, of course, he can play on the left side. I wouldn't mind putting Jackson on the left side if we get Osimhen, and then you have either Gui or Samu on the bench, and Kuka in the middle, Palmer, as I say, on the right. He's held that spot down. And then we'll see how it goes. Phoebe making a comment again. Jackson would cook at left wing because last season, driven success rate, yeah, I mean, he did play quite well. And as I said, 14 goals on your debut campaign is pretty good. I don't care what people say. Yes, he missed chances, but who doesn't? It is what it is. But we all have. You can't do nothing about it. I do think he'll play very well from the left, and we'll see how it goes. Almighty Blues making a comment. Big up. I think we should offer a conditional offer when it becomes obligation at a certain price. Only if Osimhen gets a certain amount of appearances goal. Yeah, that could be an option of what we do, but we'll have to wait and see. I think it'll be a lot of different negotiations. I mean, what we've got to remember is, as Matt Law come out and said today, we want to sell Lukaku to them for 37 million. They don't seem to want to, at the moment, bid £37 million release clause. So there's going to be a lot of negotiations. I mean, they've also come out and said that Napoli are interested in Kepa. So this is going to be a long summer between Napoli and Chelsea. We'll see how many of these deals get done or not. Hopefully we can get at least one of the two bums. I mean, I don't like to insult players, but I think we can safely say that them two are bums in terms of this side. Right, let's see if our next guest's audio is better. Welcome back.
Yeah, hello. Hello. How you doing today?
Not too bad. Not too
Yeah.
bad.
Can you hear me very well now?
Yes, you're absolutely
Okay.
perfect.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good. Greeting to everyone in the community. Yeah. I was just saying that the game that yesterday, like, it was the same thing. I saw a lot of hard work without a good end product. Was a lot of hard work from McGee, but no finishing. We created chances yesterday, chances that was enough to win the game, but we couldn't finish the chances. So it takes us back to the same situation where, though I wasn't expecting much, preseason, I see it as a place where we see the performance is what I look into more, not the result. If I get a good result, fine, but how they my what I watch out is for the chemistry between the guys, you know. So, and I see that there's also a problem with our play from the back. The play from the back has not really manifested the way it should. Yeah, I know they're just starting it, but my fear is if we go into the season and they still don't get it from the back, are we going to continue with that pattern and get cooked? Or is Maresca willing to switch pattern? That's another worry I have on that. But when it comes to individual effort, well, I see the players, they put in a lot of effort, but the finishing is still the problem. And that takes us to our transfer activity. We need a striker that is proven. Jackson, for me, well, for next season, he too is still going to be losing chances, possibly. But I think if we can get a very good striker and have Jackson play from the left, also, I think we're going to have a very strong forward.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the striker line, would you be happy then with going after Osimhen and trying to make that deal possible?
Yes, because Osimhen's or his experience. I think we need someone who has experience. Even though I'm surprised we're not going after the likes of Tune, of course, maybe because of the money. But with the way things are now, that nobody is actually really going after those guys, I was thinking if we try, we might get it for like a knockdown price. But I think if we are not going after somebody of that pedigree, Osimhen is also an experienced striker, so we need somebody like that. Yeah, I know we're about to see Omoro Dion, but I still see Omoro Dion in the same class as, if not still below Jackson. But I don't think those guys are the solution for that. We need somebody that can hit the ground running, and I think experience is what we should look at. And I think Osimhen was a really good deal for us if we can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at someone. My option, kind of, if we were to get someone in, would be Ivan Toney. Unfortunately, we're just not been linked to him, and I'm waiting for us to have a link, because actually no one seems to be looking at Toney at the moment. I'm sure he's going to go somewhere. I don't think he's going to be at Brentford.
Yeah, but
season.
today on the news now, it says that Solanke is likely to make a move to Tottenham Hotspur. So I was even thinking Spurs will want to use Toney to replace what's his name, the England captain,
Okay.
yeah, Ken, yeah, because they still haven't found anybody who will fit into Ken's shoe. And now the guy that seems like is topping on their list is Solanke. So I'm surprised he's the one and it's not Tone. So I don't know why people are not moving for Tone, but then Chelsea also need to know that if we need to achieve something, we need an experienced striker. So do you think McGee will still be staying in the team? Because I think he's still raw. He gets some chances that he's very good on the ball, but his finishing is not top notch yet.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot about him. I mean, I think he's, in terms of his technical ability, I think for the age that he is, I think he's quite well rounded and not bad at a lot of things. Of course, finishing isn't consistent, but I think with every 18-year-old, I think consistency of finishing is not going to be 100% there. Otherwise, we'd have loads of wonder kids, 18-year-olds scoring loads of goals. So I do think a loan would be good for him to go on. I think depends if we don't get anyone else in, I think he'll probably stay. But if we do get an Osimhen in, I think he'll have to definitely go out on loan, because he won't get much game time at all. And I think he's too good to be sitting in the under 21s playing football.
Yes.
And I think this is a player that, I mean, he's come from the Barcelona academy. We know that their graduates from the academies are just as good as ours. So we know he's a player that he's got very good potential. I think he just needs to be developed in the right way. We got him for a very cheap price, a bit optimistic in the way we got him. But yeah, I think he needs a loan, and we just need to get someone in like an Osimhen, like a Toney. I do think if the Osimhen deal falls apart, which I think it might, just because I think it's so complicated, I do wonder whether there'll be a last minute almost panic buy for Toney if he hasn't already gone, because, as I said, there is no one interested. And I don't see Brentford asking for a huge fee unless it is very last minute and they ask for a bigger fee towards the end of the window. I don't see it being over 50, 60, really, especially with Toney's betting controversy. I don't think that's obviously helped the overall market price for him. And maybe that is the thing that is not allowing clubs to go in for him.
And his age as well. I think he should be like 29 this year or so.
Yeah, I think it's like 28, 29.
Yeah.
So but actually, I think we do need a bit of an experienced head. So I don't think it'll be necessarily a problem. It's just whether the owners want to do that. I mean, some of the players. I mean, you look at kind of Dewsbury Hall, Tosin. They are at least coming towards the mid-20s, so they are looking. They're not looking at complete 18-year-olds at the moment, but obviously, hopefully they can sign it. I mean, in the defence, I mean, obviously, I think part of the problem as well, I think we've seen so many different combinations of centre backs, full backs that have played in pre-season. Do you think it's an aspect of we're just playing different people playing with each other, and there's no one back four that we keep playing at the moment that's not helping with the consistency?
Yeah, we don't have an option right now than to try different options. That's why we call it preseason. So, but I think for now, the coach will have been watching and be seeing who will be the constitute the main back four before the season starts. So I don't expect us to have a consistency now because everybody has to get their own piece of the cake, and that means a chance to try. So if we have consistency right now in preseason, then we'll be defeating the aim of the preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's okay that way. I just hope that we'll be able to I think the coach will be able to find something out and know that okay, this is the back four I want to go to. It just annoys me when I hear people keep saying, "Oh, Cowell and Fofana." What gives us the assurance that Fofana is going to start regularly? It has to be by to me. It has to be by performance. Like I perform. I don't even care if that guy that will make the back four is coming from the academy, as long as it's chosen based on merit and not just on name or transfer fee.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Fofana will. I think obviously he's been out for over a year, so I think it takes a lot of time to get yourself back into full peak fitness and back to where he was. So I think if he can get himself back to how he was before, I do think he will be certainly in competition for that starting role. I think at the moment, I think it's too early. I think you can see he's just way off the mark fitness wise. Who do you think would be, from what you've seen in the preseason so far, who would you say is our best back four at the moment?
Well, I would take Rich James. Rich James from the preseason, yeah. But I know one of them that would definitely make it is not even playing yet. But from the preseason, you asked me to choose, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would choose Rich James. Then I would take Tosin and what's his name? Rich James, Tosin, and Levi Cowell for now.
Hmm.
Fofana has not impressed me enough for me to say, okay, yeah, he hasn't impressed me enough. Yeah, Levi had made mistakes and also, but I think I'll still pick him ahead of Fofana.
Yeah, I'd probably say similar for me. I think Fofana, of course, I think the best thing for him right now is playing him, easing him in with the cup games, the Conference League games, where it's a bit of a lower level and he can improve his fitness and try and get back to
Yeah,
how he was. Obviously, I think Badiashile is just. I think that left side is worrying me because both Badiashile and Cole do not look very good at the moment. But I think
no,
Cole.
they don't look good together.
But I think Tosin definitely, just because he. I think last season one of our main problems was we couldn't defend a corner or a set piece to save our life. So having the height of Tosin just on its own, I think will help us a little bit more in terms of just defending set pieces.
Yeah.
So I think he definitely needs to be, as you said, Reece James. I think either him or Gustav. I don't mind who plays on that right back. And I think left back, obviously Cucurella hasn't.
Yeah.
We haven't seen.
Cucurella will walk. He will walk in when he comes back.
I think Chilwell hasn't been good enough to make a say in that, especially when his compatriot is coming back with a European Championship medal. But hopefully, I think Cucurella's back in training now, so we'll hopefully see him potentially for the Inter game and see how he's getting on fitness-wise, and hopefully he can start the first game of the season. I mean, who out the preseason, who do you think's been our kind of standout performers in general throughout the team?
Yeah, in general, I'll take Christopher Nkuku. Um, I'll take Nkuku, and then the goalkeepers. I've not been impressed with any of them so far. I think none of them has done well enough for me to say, oh yeah. Then I'll take Well, Nani is not really up there, but if there is nobody, sometimes you call on somebody who is kind of average. Nani is also not doing too bad. He's doing well, and I think Malo Gusto is also trying his best. Reese is also not bad. Reese is not too bad. Let me say, for somebody coming from a long time injury, is not too bad. Um, how do I put it? And then I will also consider the fact that sometimes he's been inverted. He hasn't really been allowed to really operate like his natural right back that he is. So, but I think Nkuku is the main star man to me among all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think adding to that, I think Romeo Lavia, I think he's had a good preseason in general.
Okay,
Obviously,
yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
think
That's
without
true.
considering he was out for most of the season last year,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't really see him. I think he's come in and he's done pretty well. Obviously, it's big competition in there when you've got Enzo, Caicedo, you got Dewsbury Hall and Cuckoo in there. So where he fits in, if he can get into the starting lineup, I don't know. But I think he's made a good account for himself, and I think has given a night probably. Enzo's got a few nasty headaches at the moment, but that'll be a bit more of a nicer one to have in that midfield, because I think Caicedo, obviously, first game he turned up with a day and a half training, so I can understand he was a bit sloppy, but he was a bit better last night, a bit more comfortable. So obviously, Caicedo was pretty good towards the end of the season. So hopefully, that midfield can look stronger next season, because I think that's where I look and go, we do seem to have a bit more strength and depth compared to last season.
So do you think the team is going to be ready for Maresca style of play before the start of the season? Do you?
I mean, absolutely not. I think for me, especially against Manchester City, because this is a team that has played effectively the Pep Maresca way
Yeah,
for 7 years now, so they know it off the back of their hand.
yeah,
If I was Maresca, I would be looking to,
adjust.
in a way, dumb it down so we
Yes,
can try and work and get some results in the first few games while still getting used to the style of
exactly.
play. I do think it hasn't helped the way the preseason tour has been. Effectively, we've travelled through so many different states in the US, playing once every 3 days. It doesn't really give a lot of actual time to train um, the style itself. So hopefully, especially like you've got a few days to winter, and then after that you've got a whole week where they can just train and prepare. But I still think it will take at least a month till we see us be a little bit more comfortable. And I do think them first few games, it's just trying to get as many results as possible. And then I think once we get comfortable, I'll be interested to see how well we play, because I think the signs do look good from the positives we've seen, but it just depends on how long it takes to get to that level.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, Pochettino then his own took him about almost the end of the season for them to understand what he wanted. But though then they had injuries and all that, players were not fit, because he was saying there was nothing wrong with his pattern. It only took a while for him to be able to get people, to get the players to understand it, and that's because of the injury. So I hope our players can be fit, all of them can be available, and they can understand the style as soon as possible, so that we don't start with a very bad season and then we start doing some permutation of, okay, we are not relegating, are we making top six? I think we deserve to I think we deserve top four this season. That's my thinking. Yeah. You know why I think that way? Because definitely I expect Pep to have to win the league, because he's always been the winner and he's still there. Liverpool is coming. I'm thinking that they too should have a bit of struggle, though it's still the same team, but a different coach. So I'm thinking if we can utilize that gap, Arsenal will come, they will start well, they will be strong, but at the end of the day, they will bottle it as they've been doing. And then I expect that Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool possibly struggle. I think Man U will still struggle too. Then I think it's an opportunity for Chelsea to be able to fight very hard and just get the top four. Aston Villa will fight, but I don't think it can be very sure for them now.
Yeah, I think we saw from Newcastle last season once they had Champions League football, and I know Aston Villa had Conference League, but
Yeah.
it's a completely different level to play that amount of games. And I think they may struggle a little bit. I do agree. I think for me, I think we'll get top, whether it's Champions League's top 4, top 5 this season, depends on how we play in Europe itself. But I do think we'll be around that 4th, 5th, depending on how teams do. I think the good thing I've taken from pre-season is that we have no injuries. We
Yes.
haven't no one on that plane is coming off. I mean, when Rudiger went into Christopher Nkunku last night, my heart just went a little bit because I remembered that it was the last US game that Nkunku got injured last time.
Yeah, at Chicago. Yeah.
And that would have been very frustrating if he'd got injured again. But thankfully, we've got no injuries. If you look at Man United, they've already got the centre back they've signed is out for 3 months. They've got Hoyland's out injured. Rashford's now out injured. So they're already coming into the season with a few injuries. I think personally last season, I think if we didn't have as many injuries as we did, I think we would have definitely competed with Aston Villa and Tottenham and given them a run for their money for that league spot. But so I think this team, we know it's good enough. It's just, can we get suited to the system and can we stay fit as much as possible? I'm interested to see if the injuries do get better this season, and that will be something potentially I'll praise the backroom staff and Maresca potentially for, because none of the previous 3 managers could sort out the injury crisis. I think if you can't keep players fit, you're never going to get anywhere, no matter how good you are.
That's true.
Going away from kind of the game a little bit and a bit more into transfers news today. Come out today that Chalobah, Crystal Palace are potentially interested in Chalobah for. Obviously, we want to sell him for potentially £25 billion. Obviously, he looks like he could be on his way to Newcastle, which in itself means we get 10 million from the sell-on clause that we put in his contract, which would be nice.
Yes.
But do you think that'll be a good move for Chalobah to go to Palace?
Yes. Whenever he's going to get regular play, I know he's ambitious to want to go to Champions League, but I think if he goes to Palace and play regularly, a Champions League team might come to grab him from there.
I think Palace are very good at just moving. Obviously, you've seen Elise move on to Bayern. He's potentially moving on to Newcastle. So I think it's potentially a good move for him. I hope he does consider it.
His effort should be to concentrate on playing regularly. Although Stamford Bridge and Palace is a different axis of London. But then London is still London. I wanted to say that if he's moving, it's going to be different from when he's moving out of England. But it's not easy if you've been on the western side of London, and now Palace is on the southeastern side. But then it's still okay for him compared to going out of London. So I think it's going to be a good move. And Palace, the team that has been consistent in the league. So
yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think even with living situation, I think most of the Chelsea players do live in kind of the South London, Surrey area, because obviously Cobham is in Surrey, so it's easier for them to travel to Cobham that way. So actually, Crystal Palace might not actually be a bad distance for him at all, because that'll be obviously South London as well. So it might not be too bad in terms of
okay. You mean Cobham is close to the south?
Yeah, so Surrey is kind of the county below London.
Yes.
And most of the players generally live around there because it's a bit more of a nicer, richer area. So probably wouldn't be too far away distance.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too far because I remember it's a straight bus that goes from Lewisham area to as far as Crystal Palace Stadium. And can
I
you
mean,
hear me?
Supreme. This is a very bold prediction that Palace will finish above us, but I'm not going to completely discount it because
Palace can't get more than a 10. They can't do better than a 10.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can finally break that top 10 that they've been hopelessly trying to do for the last few years. Another transfer that we did get completed today, Alfie Gilchrist moving to Sheffield United on a season-long loan. Obviously, it's going to be Alfie's first full season playing regular football. Do you think that's a good move for him, Sheffield United?
Absolutely. The football there is very physical. I think it's a good move for him, and I think if he goes there, I think he should be able to get to play regularly. And it's just unfortunate. Alfie, we in Chelsea, we still look at Alfie as that young guy. Alfie too, based on the age of our players, Alfie is like 21, 22 or so. He too should have been tasting first time football, first regular football now, but going on loan is good for him. And I think Sheffield is a very good option for him. At least I'm happy he's staying in England because it would have been bad if he moved out of England. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think Sheffield United should be a good club for him to be at. I think they'll be competitive next season in Championship, and I think it'll be a good move for him to show what he's like. And with the defence how it is, if everyone plays bad this season, he does very well himself back into the starting lineup potentially if he does very well.
Yeah.
I have just seen a little bit of breaking news that Fabrizio Romano has done his "Here We Go" for Samu Omod. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, Omoro Dion to Chelsea,
Omod,
right?
yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Basically all done. Medical tests will be done tomorrow. Fabrizio also mentioned that Bayer Leverkusen did try to do a late hijack of the move, but he had already agreed that he would join Chelsea. So that was interesting to see that obviously a lot of people were saying, oh, no one's interested in this guy, and well, actually Bayer Leverkusen were trying to hijack him off us, but obviously he does want to join us, which is nice. It's nice to see when a player says, no, I've agreed to join this club and I'm going to join this club, because you do get a few people hijacking.
Like Caicedo also said it in his interview recently. Yeah, that that Liverpool is a big team that was difficult to turn down, but he had already given his word to Chelsea.
I don't know what these owners and sporting directors say to these players, because they're also on and like happy about the project, and so many of us fans are struggling to see what this project is. I wonder what they tell these guys.
Yeah, I think in the case of Caicedo, I think it also has to do with the fact that he was a Chelsea fan as a child. So that could, but for this Omar Dion, well, that yeah, whatever they say might be work is working, because initially this guy wasn't really keen when we offered 40 million and it was rejected the first time. He wasn't keen. He was like, okay, if he goes through, fine. If he doesn't go through, I'm happy right here, until Atletico got interested in Julian Alvarez, and then everything changed.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how he does, because I haven't seen much of him. I've seen a few clips and compilations. Some making him look good, some making him not look good. But that is the typical compilations. You could make Lionel Messi look terrible if you wanted to on a compilation.
Yeah, of course.
Not the easiest thing to judge, but I'll be interested, because it's a bit like Jackson last season. Didn't know much about him, didn't watch too much of him. But I think overall Jackson, I was reasonably happy with his performance last season, although could have scored a few more of his chances, but still a lot to work on. But obviously, as you said, I think we do need a bit more of an experienced striker up there to help these guys. Before we go, because I think that is it from kind of transfer news and stuff, did you have any final thoughts at all?
Oh well, I'm just thinking that we should be quite continue to be hopeful and see how things work out. I know it's really been a roller coaster time since the change in this club, but whatever they are trying to do, the plan looks good. The execution has only been the problem, but I think let's just remain focused, because a lot of people are getting frustrated because of the result. But preseason is not the place where you watch out for it, especially when there's a new coach, and especially when they will have new players trying to still get themselves together, trying to understand each other. Yeah, preseason is a place for them to try to understand each other and play together. So in the process of doing that, the results might be bad, but then let's just focus on their performance and not just the results. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely. Well, thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you on. Obviously, the audio was a little bit quiet at the beginning, but it was glad to get you on fully.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hope you have a great day.
Thank you. All right. Bye. Thank you. Good night. Bye. Yeah.
Right. So that will be at the end of what has been another great show for today. You guys in the comments have been absolutely brilliant. Thank you for joining. Make sure you smash the like button so we can get this stream out to as many people as possible. And obviously make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, the people that are viewing. We did hit 22k subscribers, so fantastic news for Coachella. Hopefully he's enjoying that on holiday and seeing that good news. Thank you all for listening. Obviously tomorrow we will not be live just because I am working late and it's not going to work out timings wise in terms to get the stream. But we will be back Friday. I think I've got this stream set up for 7 o'clock UK time. So it'll be around about now. So please make sure you join us in on Friday for a little bit of an Inter Milan preview, as well as some transfer news. Obviously, Samu will be probably holding the shirt at that point, so we'll get to see a bit of that. But thank you for joining. This is Matt hosting Chelsea's Perspective, Chancellor Daily News Show. We'll see you again for another stream. Have a nice day and stay tuned.